So next reader is going to be Tom Cannon. Tom has written a book called The Tao of Apathy. If I can get a copy here, it's available on Amazon. It's humorous, it's funny.
Also in the library?
Oh, it's also available in the library. But it is quite, I would say, satirical take on the workings of staff at a hospital. It is quite, like I said, it is funny, but it's got a message. So, anyways, on sale now. And Tom, I'll let you just take it away.
Good to see you. Ruth and I are about the same height, to make sure that we're looking at.
Oh, yeah, you're not even in there. Oh, dear.
Okay, so I thought I would just read a scene from the Tao of Apathy. And so in this one, it's a scene between two kitchen workers. They work at a hospital. One is Joe. Joe's a lifer, and he's going to be there forever. Bigger's somewhat younger. He has lots of dreams of being success. Now he's having a conflict with their boss, Mr. Seuss, okay? Because he refuses to wear the uniform. Now Bigger's name, I just wanted to mention, comes from the main character in Richard White's Native Son. I don't want to compare this white guy's plight to the hardship of a black man in Chicago in the 1930s, but I did want to touch on the hopelessness of class distinction. Anyway, this is a comedy. That comes across. So Joe knew everything that went on at St. Jude's. The education department sent bulletins, memos, and newsletters to every employee on a regular basis. Joe rarely read these communications and never believed them, which was the first way he kept on top of things. Joe knew the hospital from top to bottom because he got reports from Bigger delivered the food cards, and because he helped out in the cafeteria during the lunch rush and listened to the staff gossip as they waited for the tuna casserole. Most importantly, Joe was a heavy smoker. He spent every moment he could sneak in a small building provided for the cancer enthusiasts. The room with its stained yellow walls and stench was an oasis for every smoker of every department. Because it was not possible to get to the room from the inside the hospital, the smokers hurried through the rain, snow, and freezing temperatures with a coat and a lighter to get to their carcinogen clubhouse. Joe hated, feared, and coveted his fellow smokers, and he looked forward to staining them every day. While Joe smoked, he studied human nature, and he decided that everyone's desire boiled down to two goals: to be happy and to have sex. Joe believed these goals were not usually interchangeable. For the conversations that went on in these small room we called the butthead, he discovered the mistakes that each person made that kept him far from these goals. People lost touch with their loved ones, but they bared their souls during the breaks to a coworker they might not even particularly like. They compared the light camaraderie with their coworkers with the real difficult relationships they had in their homes, while failing to see how jerky they actually were to their family. Sex was an easier goal as long as you kept your standards low. Once the people achieved this goal, they often tried to turn it into happiness. They told themselves they'd be happy if only they added a stable relationship and a family to their sex. Then once they had that happiness, they weren't happy with happiness, and then they went on looking for new sex. Joe smoked and sat and noticed that people had a profound effect on each other and didn't notice. A friendly smile did make a person's day, and a thoughtless comment had the ability to break down a relationship permanently. A supervisor's small, thoughtless comment caused a day of grumbling and a lifetime of resentment. Everyone was caught up in his or her own problems and ready to find fault with everybody else. Joe did not pretend to be any different. Sometimes, every day, Joe cracked up criticism at anyone that chipped him off. Nurses or dietitians were often rude to him on the phone, and he would take it out on them during those smoke breaks. He figured the chances of anyone filling out a complaint form with, "While I was out in the butthead," were slim. But because Joe knew the workings of St. Jude's, he knew better than to make a comment anywhere else. In a dispute between a professional staff member in a kitchen or a housekeeper or a maintenance person, the kitchen or the housekeeping or the maintenance person was in the wrong. It was assumed by many, including some of those people, that they were not intelligent enough to be on the right. It was assumed by many of those same people that they were not intelligent. Many even thought these low-level personnel had a mental ailment and made them act up. A professional was to act professionally, not act professionally, but to be treated professionally. Those on the low end of the pay scale were not people but equipment. And equipment was to be seen and used, but don't try to attach feelings to them. Now, Bigger often went with Joe to the bus. He didn't smoke, but he liked to write. That friggin' Seuss, he said as he dropped his feet on one of the two long tables that ran down the middle of the room. Ashley shot up from the table and walked towards Joe. He wanted to get rid of my pants and my shoes and anything else he wanted to approve of. He wants you naked from the waist down? Where did I sign up for that? Yeah, he wants Mr. Stiffy to wave to people as I push the carts. Bigger was so sarcastic that Joe felt proud to know him. But his sarcasm made Bigger uncomfortable. Always ready to go toe-to-toe, Bigger hated confrontations. Or rather, his reluctance to get in confrontations bottled up his feelings until he was so frustrated and angry that he wanted to fight someone. No, he wants me to wear white pants, a white shirt, and white shoes. Wow, Bigger, that is our uniform. If you haven't noticed, all my work clothes are white, Joe said, pointing to the clothes that were all white, except for food and coffee and sweat and hair stains. But why? I don't see why. I do my job. I do it well. I used to wear all white, remember? I felt like a sperm. It made my legs look short. I didn't even feel human. Plus, I think that the right colored pants help to protect me from the invisibility rays. Ah, here we go. There are invisibility rays in the hallways, Joe. He was talking loudly so others could hear, but no one took note. And they only work on me. I bring up a food cart and no one says anything to me. I don't hear a good morning or a thank you. All I hear is, oh, look, the food cart is here. Why are they surprised unless they don't see that it's me that brought it up? If I stand and wait to see if the nurses are done collecting the dirty dishes so I can take the cart, they don't see me again. They never say, oh, okay. Why? You can take the cart or we'll be ready in a minute. Why don't they say something if they see me standing there? Bigger. Joe, it's true. Sometimes I take a cart and someone says, why is that cart leaving so early? If I weren't invisible, they would know why. Because I'm taking it. and the elevator. Everyone's getting in my way and they don't let me out, even though I have this huge cart. I hate it when you talk like this. There are no invisibility rays, and there's no reason for Seuss to make you conform to the dress code. It's just the way things are. Well, Seuss told me that I better be in an all-white suit or I'll be suspended. He also hinted that people who cause problems when we let go and some major changes going on in the hospital. Bigger stood up, seeing that Joe was finished with his Marlboro. Joe raised his eyebrows. Why? What did he say? He said, we're going to reorganize this place so we don't need degenerates in green pants. Well, pretty good hint. Joe opened the door and they walked against a small wind, the short way to the entrance near the kitchen.
Thank you, Tom. And again, the book is titled The Tao of Apathy.